At a price point of only $299, the newly announced MetaQuest 3S VR headset is the most affordable current-gen option for virtual reality on the market. But with the lower specs and the branding of Meta, is it still something to consider? Okay, first off, I'm going to take this off so I can do my entire review, but a quick rundown of the main info. The MetaQuest 3S is a budget-friendly version of the MetaQuest 3, or an upgrade from the older MetaQuest 2, and I'm gonna compare both of them. Comparing to the 3, they both have the same Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 chipset and 8 gigs of RAM. They can both play the same games, they run the same apps, but the Quest 3S has lower quality visuals, it offers less storage, and it's a little bit bulkier than the Quest 3. So my big questions were comfort for both my head as well as my eyes, especially since I usually wear glasses, and how do the visuals look? So for $299 for the base model, which is 128 gigs, and $399 for the 256 gig version, it's a really great entry-level option for anybody who is looking to dip their toes into VR. This headset just launched on October 15, 2024, and it's available pretty much everywhere that you could purchase one from Amazon to Best Buy to Target, and I also have a deal in the comments and the description that will bank you a $30 coupon. Now the nice thing is this headset also comes with a free game, that's Batman Arkham Shadow, which just launched. I am obsessed with Batman Arkham games to the point where I 100%ed Asylum way back in the day. I got all of those Joker trophies without any help except for my own mind strategizing where to find them while I was dreaming. I was fast asleep, I kid you not. I strategized in a dream. I woke up the next morning and I found those Joker trophies. It was awesome. Anyways, if you are finding this video helpful and you like nerding out about VR and video games and stuff like that, a subscribe would mean a whole lot to me. Subscribing is a very, very easy and simple way and a free way of showing me which videos you find helpful and valuable, and it tells me which direction I should take my channel in. Do you want to see more VR content? Let me know. Now, if you're worried about storage, given that it starts at 128 gigs, don't be. Most of those VR apps and games are pretty lightweight, so unless you are loading this thing up with tons and tons of content, 128 gigs should be plenty for most users. This headset is just 1 gram lighter than the MetaQuest 3 at 514 grams, but it also has bulkier Fresnel lenses, and that does make it less comfortable to wear, especially during longer VR sessions, because the headset itself sits farther from your face. Now, you probably noticed there's a little spacer in here. Tack on that spacer, which is included for glasses wearers, and the weight distribution is going to be a little bit more noticeable. The headset does sit a little bit heavier on your face. I have played many hours on this thing, and I would not say it's the most pleasant experience compared to its sleeker 3 sibling. The adjustments via the straps are fine. They don't tug on my longer hair. They don't pull strands out, which I very much appreciate, but it still wasn't the most comfortable experience. I do wear makeup on recording days, and I did notice, since it is fabric, the fabric is really, really breathable. It feels really comfortable, but it does get dirty quickly with concealer or foundation, so keep that in mind if you do wear makeup. So my biggest problem with this is that if I'm wearing my glasses, which I generally do, even with the glasses spacer, it's kind of slim on the sides and it squishes the two sides of my frames ever so slightly, which did cause some uncomfortable squeezing right behind my ears. I did switch to contacts and I did not have that problem, but the visuals are not top notch either. Now, I did want to tangent here and say a big Patreon shout out to Austin B. You can join Austin and support my channel by going over to patreon.com/Shannon Morse. You can get early video access to videos like this one, my private Discord, which is only available for patron supporters, and I actually chat in there every day, so it's really fun to hang out in there and meet everybody. As usual, all the videos on my channel are free to watch. I thank my YouTube members and my patrons for making that possible. Now, I mentioned the visuals. For example, there is an adjustment that you can make to the IPD presets. Instead of the Quest 3's smooth scroll wheel for adjusting the distance between the lenses, which is supposed to help with matching your pupils' distance from each other, the 3S is a little bit more old school. They have 3 preset options. There's 58mm, 63mm, and 68mm, and you can test all 3 of those and kind of figure out which one is best for you. Every single face is going to be different though, so that might not not exactly fit whatever your needs and preferences are. Each eye received 1832 by 1920 pixels, which is also not as sharp as the higher end Quest 3, and you do see a difference with it. The Quest 3 has a 2064 by 2208 pixels per eye resolution. Plus, due to these Fresnel lenses, there is going to be some slight blurring around the edges. It's not like those nice pancake lenses. I also noticed a teeny tiny bit of that screen door effect on these. Now that is a visual artifact that occurs in virtual reality headsets, where the gaps between the pixels becomes more visible and it creates like a mesh-like experience. It's kind of similar to when you're looking outside and you're standing in front of a screen door, you can see those black lines where the screen door mesh is. That was a lot more noticeable whenever I was watching YouTube videos at higher resolutions, but I did not notice it as much when I was playing interactive games. Like I'm in the middle of playing Batman Arkham Shadow and I did not notice it whatsoever. It's just not one of those things that you're really going to pay attention to whenever you are in the middle of the game. Now the field of view is 96 by 90 degrees. I noticed this is very comparable to where the edges of my glasses stop, like right about there. So that's about how far you're going to be able to see whenever you're wearing the Quest 3S, is it kind of stops right there. But again, even with the lower quality visuals, that did not stop me from having a ton of fun with the games. Beat Saber is a blast. The new Batman Arkham Shadow game was fantastic to play on this. The controllers are a little bit awkward to hold. I have them right here in front of me and they're a little small to me. They feel just a little bit small, and maybe that's because I have adult size hands. The joysticks are also kind of small. So that was something that I noticed, but they are very, very responsive for gameplay. The depth, the angles, the interactions were all very accurate. I also really like the haptic vibrations and the feedback on these controllers, and felt like overall it was a really quality gaming experience. So whether I'm like gripping and climbing a ladder, or I'm using my cape in Batman to coast, or I'm punching some baddies left and right, all of it was really fun and a very enjoyable experience. I know there's a lot of concerns about these straps, but I felt like the headset was snug and it didn't move thanks to the customizable adjustments that you can make. The cushioning did not squeeze my head. Just when I'm wearing the glasses, it squeezes near the back of my ears. I did feel that snugness where my glasses are, and that is with that spacer again. But otherwise, if you remove the spacer, put in contacts, or if you don't wear glasses, not an issue. And I did want to mention too that you can get prescription lenses for the inside of these. You can order those through the Meta website and they're pretty inexpensive. I think they're around like $50, but I will check and put that on the screen. So with the visuals and the comfort out of the way, what about the interface and the performance? So despite the visual drawbacks, because obviously this is going to be a step down from the 3, the Meta Quest 3S is no slouch when it comes to performance. With that Snapdragon chipset in there, 8 gigs of RAM, everything from entertainment to games ran really smoothly. Apps do load reasonably fast. Gameplay is very fluid. The load times are pretty quick. If you're a gamer looking to try out some of the best VR titles on a budget, the Meta Quest 3S handles it like a champ. I did notice a little bit of lag between menus or when I was downloading those games for the first time, but once something is loaded, there were no glaring problems whatsoever. With these Meta headsets, the operating system is called Horizon OS. It's packed with features, it's very easy to navigate, whether you want to do that with your hands or you want to do that with the controllers, you can do either. It's regularly updated, and I have had a couple of updates since I started reviewing these myself. The Meta Quest 3S also supports that mixed reality pass-through, which is a really nice bonus if you want to blend virtual and real worlds. Now that was pretty cool, and that's how I was using it at the very beginning of this video. I think it's cool because I can interact with my husband or with my pets while I have this on. I don't have to remove it. With the menus, I can interact with those. I can open apps and just have them kind of floating in front of me. It's so cool. My pets were a little bit alarmed at this thing on my face. It looked a little awkward to them, but it did offer me some comfort knowing that I can see my surroundings, so I felt a little bit safer knowing I can do that. I love that I don't have to hold the controllers to use the headset. Like I mentioned, you can use hand gestures instead. You can control and you can switch between apps. Some of the games also support hand gestures instead of using the handheld controllers too. Now, one of the interesting additions that they put in the Quest 3S is the new action button, which is found right next to the volume slider. Now, right now, Now, it only switches you between VR and pass-through, but I think it would be cool if you could customize the action option instead of just going between VR and pass-through. Maybe switch on Bluetooth or automatically open your favorite app, whatever the case may be. I thought the sound quality was also pretty clear. It's very directional and crisp. You can easily control it via that lever on the headset itself. There is no headphone jack, FYI, just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, this headset is a Meta device, and personal opinions about this brand can be quite tense. Putting my own personal opinions aside, I can appreciate the details that went into Horizon OS, not just the library, but also the integrations into your Facebook or Meta account, and the neat ways that you can use this platform. How you interact with it is very flexible, but I also like the community part too. Now, I'm not a big fan of online games. I don't play a lot of online games with people I don't know, but I can see how this would be very fun for folks who are into that. You can interact with people that you friend within Horizon OS. I think it's really cool that you can use that mixed reality feature to hang out with your friends, play games on a table. It's very feature rich when it comes to ways that you can interact with it. The Meta Quest 3S gives you a very solid 2.5 hours of use, which is about average for a VR headset. It's not a huge improvement over the Quest 3, but hey, you can still dive into a solid VR workout session or a few games before it's time to recharge it. I am using this compact charging dock to charge the controllers with some rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. Those replace the AA's that come with your touch controllers when you buy the 3S. This thing charges all three peripherals at once via the 3S's 18-watt power adapter, though Meta recommends using a 45-watt power adapter, which of course is not included, go figure. Now, a big question I have seen is, should you upgrade to the 3S if you own a Quest 2? A lot of my friends have asked me that. You will notice that the Quest 3S gives you better processing power, faster load times, better audio, and a much more beautiful pass-through quality, like a way better pass-through quality. Plus, you get those upgraded touch controllers too in the box, and those are really nice and sensitive, and they feel really good and responsive. The display resolution, whenever you're watching entertainment, playing games, the field of view though, are the same. So you do not get an upgrade when it comes to the display resolution and the field of view. So should you get one? It's a pretty smooth experience. Given the price point, this would be such a fun gift for some younger folks, some kids, somebody who's got an interest in VR but probably doesn't want to spend more than a few $100 on a system. Maybe you are intrigued by the whole thing, but you really don't think that you would pick it up very often. The library of games and apps is very extensive too, and as an entry-level experience, I think it's rather accessible for VR. You could always consider this an option to see if you would like to upgrade in the future, because you can always carry any games that you snag on this thing and you purchase through Meta and play them on future headsets too from Meta. Now, should you get a Quest 3S or a Quest 3? I would argue that the 3S is best for those beginners of VR, as a gift for some kids or some teens in your life, even a gift for yourself, or to stay within a very strict budget. Personally, for me, comfort is key, especially when I'm wearing my glasses, and my eyes are already bad, so anything that isn't the highest resolution that I can get my hands on as a consumer causes a little bit of eye strain for me. I would opt for the higher end Quest 3. I've had plenty of time with that one at a friend's house, and if I had the budget, that's the one that I would go for, just for those higher end visuals. But if the visuals aren't the only thing that you're considering and you're on a much stricter budget, then I think the 3S is really worthy. I am curious if you would like to see some more gameplay from this new Batman game that I've been playing, maybe like a live stream or something. I think that would be a lot of fun. There's also a ton that you can do with this headset that I didn't really demo in this review. There's Xbox cloud gaming, there's PC VR, there's mixed reality. So if you want to see those in like a future tutorial or another review, like a secondary review video of all those features too, subscribe, request them below in the comments. Let me know what you would like to see, since VR is fairly new to my channel, but it is something that I have enjoyed personally for quite some time. I'll see you next time. Bye y'all.